Good evening, beautiful woman. Welcome to Isaiah's Inspiring Evenings, a podcast full of goddess stories, witches' secrets, colors of women and fairy seasons to integrate serenity, abundance, joy, and magic into your life. This is episode 23, The TooMuch Woman Travels in Time, episode 4, Lessons from the Past about ferry boats, starry skies, and Keftedakia. I am Isabel, creatrix, magico-pragmatic life and business coach, goddess teacher and traveling priestess. And this podcast aims to accompany you for peaceful and inspiring evenings. Isaiah's Inspiring Evenings is a podcast published every week on Saturdays, and you will find more info and the references I am talking about on the website isabel.com. Subscribe to the podcast on the platform of your choice to be informed of the publication of each new episode. If you like this podcast, you can support it by leaving stars, blue thumbs, and reviews on whatever platform you listen to me. Picture this. Deck of a ferry going to Crete, September 1972. I am 5 years old. Dinner time. I am traveling to Crete with my parents. We are going to live there for a while, working on the former leper colony of Spinalonga. I don't know it yet, but these few months are going to be crucial in the formation of my personality, and I'm going to be learning so many new things, acquiring so many of the beliefs that are still with me today, both the good ones and the really terrible traumatic ones. We will be living in a one-room square house by the beach, without running water and with what can only be defined as the bare minimum. At some point, the roof did actually completely collapse on us. Anyway, this is a story for another time, about the amazingness of bare minimum and such. Still struggling today to allow myself more than that, though. Collateral damages. So, back to the ferry. The three of us, my parents and I, we form a basic cell of safety and love. I couldn't have defined that at the time, but in the midst of living in communes and a complete hippie lifestyle, we, created a triangle of love and protection that was crucial to me, and maybe to them too. A cell, a unique three-sided triangle where each of us had a purpose, a place, and a specific utility. I was the child, the joy, the light. Part of my job was to entertain. Most of my job was to enjoy. And I did. Oh boy, I did. Back to the ferry. Bare minimum meant no cabin. We lived on the deck. The crossing was 12 hours at the time. It's 8 nowadays. Bear in mind, we did this on a regular basis, going from my granny's in Athens to Crete and back. So, dinner time. My mom would install our sleeping bags, Swiss Army ones, military green with real duck feathers inside, so cozy. Into a nice little picnic area, she would open the plastic box provided by my yaya, granny in Greek, containing keftedakia, Greek meatballs, and grab lemon. Of course, keftedakia without lemon are a no-go, bare minimum or not. And tomatoes and olives and bread. And we would eat. At the time, we were traveling with all of my parents' cutlery and china, which was composed of 3 wooden bowls, 3 camping metallic cups, 3 sets of camping spoon and fork, and a folding knife each. French opinel, for anyone asking. I still have my set. So we ate. No phones, no tables, not many other people on the deck either. This is a time before mass tourism, and the Greeks on the ferries despise the deck. Peace, good food, the sound of the engines, the smoke from the huge chimney, the distant sound of waves beneath us, the fresh salty air, altogether a magic adventure. But wait, it's getting better. Later, we would move and find a more secluded spot where there were less lights on the deck, and install our camping for the night. 3 sleeping bags, mine in the middle, luggage and towels as pillows. Then the real magic began for me. Have you ever lied down on a deck at sea watching the sky? There is nothing blocking the view, nothing between you and the stars. That night might have been a dark moon night. The sky was dark as can be, and the stars were everywhere. So many, so bright, so twinkly, amazingly close and incredibly distant. I was in awe. I don't think I slept much. The feeling of safety, of being between my sleeping parents, the wonders of the night sky, the warmth inside my sleeping bag, and the fresh salty air on my cheeks, the steady humming of the engine, the sea crashing against the hull, the rocking of the ship itself, all that contributed to what was, I now understand, my first mystic experience, my first encounter with the universe, with Source, with all that is bigger than us. I remember it so vividly. I feel it still. The awe, the sheer wonder, the reverence for that miracle that is the cosmos and me. I felt part of it. I felt I was in it. I felt I was it. I believe it opened up my soul to another plan of interacting with the world. And weirdly enough, I did not feel small or afraid. I felt huge and expansive. I felt I belonged. Like I remembered. Like I had been out there before and traveled through the stars. Of course, I grew up and forgot again. But these days, I cannot help but being sent back to this night, my first awakening, my first encounter with sheer beauty, wholeness, and the feeling of being one with all of it. And I know now that these intergalactic travels I remembered were true, a distant memory ingrained in me by my many ancestors from the stars. I know that the Mintakan seed in me was awakened that night between the sea and the stars, and the dormant mermaid was brought to life again. But this is another story for another time. That night, I woke to the magic we are living in, to the amazingness that is the planet we walk upon, to the earth, to the marvel of the sea, of water, to the splendor of the fire, of the sky, of the cosmos, to the sentiment of freedom in the breeze, to the air, and to something that I couldn't name but have now learned to call infinite gratitude for life. I must have slept after all, because what woke me up was the first ray of yet another wonder of fire, the sun. And to end this night of discoveries and awakenings, I got to sit in my sleeping bag, with my parents still sleeping, and watch the rising sun, like the first dawn of the universe, alone on the deck of the moving ship, in the same awe as the night before. Small person, big discoveries. Tiny moment, huge, life-changing awakening. Ever since that day, awe for the beauty around us lives in me, is ingrained in my every breath. And to this day, I do create these moments of awe daily for myself. To remember, to feel the wonder, to bask in beauty, to feel the sheer joy and gratitude for this gift of life. Do you? That's it for this episode. The next one is still in creation. Thanks for listening, and don't forget, if you want to support this podcast, share, subscribe, and leave stars, blue thumbs, and a review on whichever platform you listen to. If you want to be accompanied in the change processes that life offers you, If you want to participate in the awakening of feminine energy in the world, live your life as a goddess, know the secrets of witches, and apply the rituals of fairies in your daily life, please contact me by going to the VIP coaching page of my website, isayabel.com, or by participating in the retreats, programs, or courses that I offer regularly. You can also subscribe to my newsletter to be informed of all the news in the real and virtual world of Isayabel. You will, of course, find this podcast on all platforms, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, etc., but also on YouTube and on my website, isayabel.com, on the podcast page